Okay, let's get started on how to solve some internal fragmentation problems. As you can see, I have 5 over here with me. We're going to try to figure out how many frames we're needed, the total that's allocated, and then what the internal fragmentation is. Let's start with the first one. The first one has a frame size of 100 or 1024 bytes, and the required or requested is 1800 bytes. So to start out with, the first item that we need to do is going to divide how many frames we're going to need. So we'll take the requested, divide that by the frame, and this is basically going to be about 1.76 or roughly 2 frames. From there, to get the total allocation memory, we're just going to multiply the 2 frames by the frame size, which that tells us we need about 2048 bytes to satisfy our request. And then finally, we're going to look at how much is wasted, and that basically is taking the total, which is 2048, subtract that by the requested, and we get about 248 bytes of internal fragmentation. Moving on to the next problem. We have a frame size of 4096 bytes and a request of 5000 bytes. So to start off with, obviously we're going to divide our request by the frame, and this is going to tell us about how many frames we're going to need, which results into 2 frames. To get the total size, we're taking 2 frames and we're going to multiply that by the frame size, which will get us about 92 bytes. And to get the wasted, again, we're going to do the total allocated, subtract that from our requested, which gets about 3192 bytes. So we need 2 frames. Total allocated is 8192 bytes, and the total fragmentation is 3192 bytes. The third problem, again, our frame size is 248 bytes with a request of 248. Obviously, if we divide this, I'll just still go through with it just so that you get a good sense. We're going to need 1 frame, and obviously 1 frame is going to result in a perfect fit. And if we subtract these two, we basically, again, we're going to have no internal fragmentation here. So this is the only case with no internal fragmentation, because the requested fits perfectly into the frame. And then we'll go into our fourth problem. Again, we'll take our requested, divide that by our frame size. That basically is going to give us about 4.16. So we're going to look at 5 frames for this. Again, let's see how much we need for allocation. 5 frames by multiply it by the frame size. That's about 2560 bytes. And then to see what our internal fragmentation leftover waste would be, subtract that from the requested, and we're left with about 460 bytes. So there's our internal fragmentation. And then finally, let's look at number 5. So system's going to allocate at least one full frame for every request, and our frame size is 4096 bytes. So the way we're going to go about this is normally we'll look at about taking the 129 bytes and trying to divide it into the frame size. So again, 129, is that going to be, which is about less than 1. So because of the rule, at least one full frame per request, the process still gets one whole frame. Again, this is going to result in 496 for the total allocated. And if we're looking at the waste, we'll take the 496, subtract that by 129 bytes, and we are left with 3,967 bytes of internal fragmentation. All right, so that's basically some problems on how to do fragmentation, specifically internal.